Hemp planting is now underway in Southside. Commercial hemp production was just legalized in December. 10 News reporter Coulter Anstad talked with a grower and an extension agent today about the challenges of growing the crop.
For Halifax County grower Garland Comer, this is an exciting time, not just because of the potential of hemp, but because getting here has not been easy. Using a mechanical planter designed to plant tobacco, planting hemp was a trial and error process for Garland Comer Friday afternoon. It's a process he and many other tobacco growers are eager to perfect.
Everybody's just grasping for something to take the place of tobacco right now, and we're hoping that this might be the ticket.
Because hemp is so new, growers aren't able to get loans to cover the cost of growing it. They have to cover the $12,000 to $20,000 an acre cost out of their own pocket.
We had to get licensed to do it, and trying to get your plant production, get it from where it's produced to here, and we really don't know about the growing yet.
He's planting 10 acres.
See, that other one was dropping probably down to there.
Compounding the risk is the fact that extension agents like Stephen Bartz in Pittsylvania County are still trying to understand hemp just like the growers.
We don't have a lot of research to back up some of the assertions that we'd make on agronomic practices and things of that nature.
Now that hemp is being grown, that will hopefully change.
I'm looking forward to being able to answer some of those questions with a purely scientific basis in the next crop year.
As for Comer, he too is looking forward to learning from this year's crop. He hopes to have all of his hemp planted by June 15th. In Halifax County, Coulter Anstad, 10 News, working for you.